One of the main things I went without during college was definitely shopping for new clothes. I honestly have not been shopping since like before my freshman year.
So in high school, I was able to afford the fun things like clothes and jewelry and whatnot. Once I did come to college, I realized that that probably isn't as important as some things. Like I should probably buy my books before I go out and have fun.
I just tried to live as minimally as possible. I didn't eat out a lot.
When I'm living with my parents, I didn't really have to pay for my own food. So now that I do, I can't eat out all the time, or I have to make sure I'm eating a vegetable every now and then, things like that.
And then when I went to college and had that additional bill that I didn't have in high school, a lot of that money had to pay for just my education. So I had less money to do all the fun stuff and had to apply that toward my education.
I learned how to budget the hard way, which was the running out of money way.
I really didn't have a budget when I first came to college. It wasn't until I kind of ran low on money and I tried to ask my parents for money and they were like, no ma'am, no more money for you. So then I was like, oh shoot, what do I do now? So I kind of just like wrote out my necessities and kind of like what I would kind of need for a weekly amount of money, and once I spent that weekly amount of money, I did not go over it. One, because I couldn't, and two, I had my own job now, so it was my money that I was spending, and I think when it's your own personal money, it's kind of harder to spend it on things that aren't necessary.
I always made sure I kept like a budget. I would make one in Microsoft Excel, or I would just write it down in a planner, those kinds of things, just making sure that I'm spending money on needs rather than wants.
But when I started paying for my own rent and my own groceries and things like that, I really had to crack down and make sure that I was spending my money in the right places.
A baseline of all budgets is that you spend less than you earn. And so avoiding things like credit cards, where it allows you to spend more than you earn, maybe just sticking to a debit card where you know your balance. You can use cash transactions. That way you can physically see the money leaving your hand and going to another person and watch it deteriorate as it leaves your wallet. But I think budgets really help you stay on track of how much do I have and how much can I spend.
A budget is just putting your values in alignment with how you're spending your money.
The best way to know your accounts is make them easily accessible. Know where to access your Bursar account. Have your banking app on your phone. Know exactly what your budget is and kind of compare them to what's in your accounts and what's on your balance here on your Bursar.
My biggest advice about budgeting is pay your bills first. Once you get those out of the way, then anything that's left over is available for you to spend however you see fit and what's important to you.
I had to prioritize other things such as gas and other things that I needed to pay for, so I wasn't always able to go shopping or get my nails done.
One of the biggest transitions for me going from home to college was going from shopping at like brand name stores, things like that, to things like Goodwill and thrift stores, and started to realize a lot of things were definitely not necessities that I thought were in high school.
Meals now are about $9 a meal, so do I need to eat out or do I just want to eat out? I know that like cooking on campus may seem hard, but it is feasible.
It would actually have been cheaper to purchase some nutritious food from the store, cook it myself.
When you're looking at the classes you're going to take and you're looking at your textbooks, they can be more expensive than you thought they were going to be. So making sure that you just sort of know these things beforehand, or maybe you do some searching around, some research to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible.
So when I went to college, I had scholarships, and so I received a refund check. And so at the beginning of the year, you see this giant refund check, and it's pretty tempting to go out and blow it all on something. But recognizing that you need to spread it out over the course of the semester.
But the first thing you need to do is just figure out where are you spending your money. So for about a month, just track where you're spending your money and be very honest about where it's going.
It allowed me to prioritize my rent, my groceries, my bills, different payments for school and things like that first. And then I took everything else that I had left over, and that was used for fun things.
If you always have a budget and you always know exactly where you are, then it helps reduce that stress and anxiety.
If I actually had followed a a written budget and wrote everything down, that would have been really helpful, because then you actually realize where your money is going.
And everybody has to have a budget. And so you're not alone. Everybody has to build one. And just building that foundation of a budget sometimes is difficult. And where do you start? And that's where we come in.
The Office of First Year Success has financial planning coaches who are here to do just that. They can help you build a budget based on basically what you have.
Going and meeting with my financial planning coach over in the Office of First Year Success was really like the turnaround point for me.
I think the advice I would give for a student coming to college who's never lived on a budget before would be to definitely meet with a financial planning coach at the Office of First Year Success.
When you have a budget, it just eliminates the surprise. So you can feel more relaxed if you're following your budget. You don't have to worry about where is my next meal coming from, because you know where your next meal is coming from. You don't have to worry about how am I going to pay for school, because you already figured that out.
A great way to help increase your budget and help with your monthly income is to find a job on campus. University Dining Services hires hundreds of student employees every single year. They're paid an hourly wage for their work, and they're also provided with an $8 meal voucher with every shift that they work. The schedules for our students are very flexible. They're scheduled around their class times, any tests. All of our managers know that you're students first and then employees second.
I myself came to school on student loans, and I had a very small budget. I was working a part-time job. At the time, I didn't realize there are 2 jobs available in our department, parking enforcement officers and student bus drivers. You get to see the campus, you get to see Stillwater. They train you, they pay to have you get your license, and the drivers I've talked to that are students say it's great to disengage from studying for a little while and do that job and then go back to studying. They feel a little bit more refreshed and they're getting paid to do it.